the Maximum Meathead Podcast.
Just due to IQ alone, I'm going to be staying out of a lot of these conversations.
No way, man. There's we talked about it, right? There's that balance between I guess like a good quote to start it off with is the idea of like a brain surgeon and a carpenter are no less able. They're no less skilled. A brain surgeon's ability is limited, not by his like understanding of medical science, but by his ability to use his hands. He has to operate. And a carpenter's ability is limited by his understanding of like physics and types of wood, not just his ability to use his hands. So there's like a meeting between like intellectualism and like skill, right? Like physical ability. So, I think like everyone's linchpin is the opposite side of the argument.
Right.
So yeah, like man, fucking IQ doesn't matter. I don't know anything.
I agree.
I don't have a PhD, so yeah.
Je comprends.
I agree. Just send me in the building burning.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do the regular intro first, yeah?
Yeah, may as well.
Welcome back to another episode of the Maximum Meathead Podcast. We're bringing you the meat and potatoes of fitness with a side of bullshit. We're your hosts, Muscle Bill and Punch Paquette.
Yo, just made it in on time, buddy.
Yeah, fire call of the afternoon.
Yeah, missed out on the workout today. I'll let you introduce our guest first before I get into that.
We have with us today Mr. Killian Hamilton.
Hey, everybody.
Very happy that he came all the way out here to the middle of Grimsby.
Yeah. Apparently it wasn't Grimsby.
But no, it's great to have you out, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. I've been looking forward to it for like at least a month now.
Yeah,
so.
me too.
Yeah,
I'm keen for this podcast, man. Just our breakfast conversation there. And I just got a taste of our workout. Too bad I had to be called away. But yeah, I was keen on that, man. I could tell you know your shit. So this is good. This is going to be a very informative podcast for me. So why don't you tell the people who you are?
So my name is Killian Hamilton. I'm a personal trainer as well as I'm head coach of Canada, you could say, with Prescript, prescript.com. We offer courses, seminars for coaches, higher level therapists, as well as we also offer online coaching for bodybuilders, powerlifters, Olympic lifters. So I oversee a lot of the coaching that happens here in Canada and the education in person, as well as I train 15 clients a day.
Nice. You're based out of a Good Life gym?
Yeah, I'm based out of Good Life Fitness in Brampton, Ontario.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm there from 5, 6 a.m. to 7, 8, 9 p.m., 7 days a week.
So fitness is your life.
Pretty much, man,
Nice.
whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
It's the old ball and chain, so.
Yeah, exactly. And then you escape away from work and you end up having to teach us some tricks in the gym.
To hang out with a couple more meatheads.
Yeah, it's great.
At another gym. But yeah, man, I think I made this a career just because this is what I like. Like, I could sit here and we could talk shit all day, right? I could throw crazy exercise terms out and talk about skill acquisition for hours or read about it. So before that, I was a carpenter. And that's a little known fact. So I used to build high rises and do trim carpentry. So I built prisons, high-end hotels, skyscrapers, and not as passionate about that as I was about fitness. So thought if I'm going to spend every day doing something that's going to kill me, I'll do what I like.
Nice. And I see you're sporting a fanny pack.
Yeah.
Is that a bacon and barbells one?
Yeah.
I love the fanny pack, man.
Yeah. I actually I wear it around my waist. All these kids are wearing it like over the shoulder. But, I'm not about to do that.
You're repping it proudly, old school.
Old
the
school.
original way. You're,
right over
you're
the
an
neck.
OG.
Yeah.
I never saw the shoulder thing.
Covering my boner.
Yeah. Yeah. The old boner flap.
Yeah.
So.
Beauty. Take away the shadow. So you said you've been training the Good Life.
Yeah.
How did you get into training before that? So you're a Good Life trainer now, carpenter before.
Yeah.
Let's rewind a bit.
Let's rewind. I was a carpenter first, so I went to like a month of university and dropped out. Outside the window of my university class was a construction site, and it looked like a lot more fun. There's dudes building shit. So I dropped out of university. I bought a hard hat, and I just walked onto the job site and got a job. Pretended I worked there until someone started paying me. I just complained I didn't get paid, and they paid me, and I started being a carpenter. But I did that for a while, and I got laid off. Like in construction, there's ebbs and flows in busyness. And I was just going to the gym at the time and training myself, and I was watching trainers train people. And I thought, I could probably do this better than them. I didn't think that. But I just thought, I'd like to show people how to do this. I think there's a method to it coming from a trade. I kind of understood the idea behind skill acquisition. Like, first I learned how to use a handsaw. Then I learned how to use a skill saw. Then I learned how to use a jigsaw. So like there was a level of skill acquisition that I learned, and I got to the gym, and I started on machines, then I went to barbells, then I learned how to do powerlifting. So I kind of saw parallels, and I thought, maybe I can do this as a career. So I applied as a personal trainer and got into it from there.
Wow. So what age would this have been when you applied as a personal trainer?
I was 21.
Okay, and were you lifting beforehand?
Yeah.
So you've always been athletic?
Yeah.
Your whole life?
Yeah, my whole life. Like I grew up playing like pretty high level rugby. I played for.
Nice. What position?
I was fly half until I got too short, and then I became scrum half.
Yeah, I was inside center. I love that.
No
game,
way.
Man.
Yeah, it's the best, man.
Brutal.
Yeah,
brutal game.
Yeah, those are the two best positions too: fly and inside. Right,
like inside.
you get to run
and smoke.
Yeah,
smoke the dude.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Just smash that guy.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. Like my dad got me into rugby because I wanted to play football, and football was expensive. Mm-hmm. And my dad knew I wanted to hit some people, so he was like, "Hey man, you can go out there, hit people all day, no one's gonna get mad." So he signed me up for rugby. It was like $100. So I played rugby for a long time, and I ran track and field too. So, nice. And then from there, like that was the biggest like basis of athletics. And when I couldn't play rugby anymore because of concussions, then I started lifting weights.
So who made that choice? You?
Well, the doctor did.
Yeah.
They gave me a medical ban to play rugby, so I tried to play, and I had a medical ban. I can't go back, so then I had to do something else with my time. And got a gym membership.
Oh, crazy, man.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, it does suck.
Yeah,
brain trauma sucks.
Yeah, getting your brains bounced around.
Yeah, I'm all about it, but it does suck.
Did you have any sort of like rehab stuff to get like out of the brain trauma? Have you ever had to go through?
Yeah, played ping pong.
Okay.
Did word searches, all kinds of different cognitive stuff on the computer, matching lights, matching letters, get my brain back. So you may have
learned something there that helped you in the future there.
Yeah, I don't know.
What we were talking about, I'm sure we'll discuss in a bit here.
Yeah.
Hitting those neurotransmitters and whatnot.
For sure. Yeah, a lot of that stuff helped me early on. And like at one point, my concussion was bad, and I ended up getting like a lot of blood in my eyes, and I had to take a week off school. Like I was like pretty much blind.
Yeah.
Like I had limited visibility. Like my brain bled into my eyes.
Holy shit.
I couldn't open my eyes. I was sensitive to light, couldn't go to school, so I missed like 3 weeks of school. I'd go back to school, I'd pass out in the hallway.
Yeah.
Man.
And after that, like my parents and the doctor kind of kiboshed getting hit in the face.
Well, yeah.
Weird, right?
yeah, I don't know why.
Probably a good choice.
It would have been fine, but... and that's kind of a funny tie-in to me doing bobsled, because like you're not supposed to do bobsled if you have a history of concussions, and...
Oh, no doubt, man. You biff on that thing.
Yeah.
You're
wrecked.
You're smashing out. I've seen that shit in the Olympics, man.
Yeah.
That's no bueno.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just lied on the application and said I didn't have a history of concussions and just slid in there.
When was this? When were you the bobsledder?
I would have done bobsled. I think it's about 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
It's recent.
I met you, we competed in our RPS 2016.
Yeah.
And you went to do bobsleigh, I believe, after that, right?
Yeah.
So it was pretty much... I think almost immediately after that meet. I don't know a timeline.
Yeah, literally. I did my last meet in RPS October 31st, and I think I flew out to Calgary November 9th.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you did this whole craziness to try and bobsleigh.
Yeah, so I kind of committed a year of my life to doing bobsleigh. I went out west for almost 3 months, and I literally got off a plane. The guy who was the pilot of the bobsled drove me the bobsled track, and like... I was off a plane at 10. I was in a bobsled by 1 p.m. in the afternoon going down the hill. So.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was your goal with this?
I just wanted to see how far I could take it. It was literally my lifelong dream. Like I tell people and they're like, yeah, right.
Like what? Did you watch that movie, Jamaican Bobsled?
Yeah, the Cool Runnings when I was a kid. Yeah. So I was born in Calgary, not too far from where the Olympic Village is. And when I was a kid, and then watched Cool Runnings, and the Ontario Science Center has like a fake bobsled.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
And my parents had a membership there or something when I was young, and I used to always go sit in that thing when I was a kid, like for hours. And then I had the opportunity to do it. It's like it's a lifelong dream. Why would I throw it away?
Man.
Yeah.
That's just something I would never think of. You know what I mean? But I guess if you're surrounded by it when you're growing up.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
Yeah, and then I knew someone who was on the women's team, and she was like, are you fast? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm fast. I don't know how fast you got to be. I didn't know it
What's
took
your
to be
gauge?
a bobsledder. Yeah, faster than this guy. So I went out to this like Dryland Tryout, and everyone had like track cleats, and they were doing warm ups, and like I don't know, I just ran when I played rugby.
Yeah.
So I showed up and like I think I had like Sperry's or Vans or some shit on.
Yeah.
So I ran like this fly 30, and my time wasn't great, but it was good enough. And like 2 weeks later, I got an email and said like, hey, do you want to come out and push a sled and try out here on the track? So yeah, I kind of like dropped everything. I quit my job, took all the savings I had, and I flew out west. I was like living in a hotel. I lived on like a guy's couch.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucking nutty, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. So like, yeah, I had like no job, no income. I was like living out there for like 2-3 months, and then trying to do bobsled.
I've met a lot of people in my day. I think you're the first bobsledder. That's why it's just throwing me for a loop,
Yeah.
man. You're literally the only person I think I've ever heard do that before.
Jay does or did bobsleigh.
Yeah,
right?
so that was like a big motivator too. Is like Jay Nira, he did bobsled as well. Like he went to University of Western, played football. Then he went and did bobsled. Another buddy of mine when he was the same age as me, Brody Thorne. He works at Good Life as well. He's the VP. He did bobsled as well when he was like my age. Yeah.
Huh.
So, is it anything like the Dryland Tryouts? Is it anything like in Cool Runnings with the little sleighs with the wheels and they fall off and stuff?
Luckily not. No, it's like very similar to what you'd see at like the NFL Combine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So like you
Nice.
run a 30 meter, so that'd be similar to a 40 for anyone who's seen the Combine. You do like a medicine ball throw as far as you can.
Okay.
And then you
Like
do
a
like
shot put style or granny style?
granny style.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But yeah, and you just launch it front. It's like mainly
Cool.
like to see your hip extension.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because basically, if you're the brakeman in a bobsled, the way you initiate running with the bobsled looks like a power clean,
Okay.
but you're completely sideways. So it's all hip extension.
Yeah.
So they test your hip extension there, and then you do a broad jump. Yeah, another just
Yep.
like display of like how explosive you can be. Yeah, and like frame of reference, I'm 5'7" maybe, and like 170 pounds. Bobsledders are.
I asked Muscle
guess-
Bill what he thought you weighed. He's like, 170. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking 190. See the guy's legs? He's not 170.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I said, I think he's around 170 for sure. He's like, no way.
Look at your arms though. Look at my arms.
Like, Jesus, man. I'm really surprised you're 170.
Yeah.
Good guess there, Muscle Bill. I
Yeah.
would have bet you money on that.
I should have.
Yeah, you should have.
I'll bet you dinner.
But yeah,
Anyway.
frame of reference, bobsledders are 5'11", 6 foot. Jesse Lumsden's 6'6", I think.
Wow.
Holy jeez.
And they're like 2 bills, 225, 245.
Yeah.
Like these are big dudes. So coming from like powerlifting where I was good at it and going to bobsled where I'm literally the smallest guy there, like that was a big adjustment to make mentally and then physically too, right? Like now you're not a big fish in a small pond, right?
Right.
You're literally nothing. Like you're a
the
skid mark
smallest
and a
fish.
giant pair of underwear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're gonna look at it anyway.
That's a good way to be, man.
It's really
it's a
what
good
it
place
is.
to be because that, you got to work hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody gives a shit about me here. I need to prove myself. Like, it's go time.
No, that's
Yeah.
neat, man. I knew you went out. I never knew how it all kind of came around. Then you just came back.
Makes a cool,
Yeah.
diverse background for yourself, though, moving ahead with your training as well, because you've done the real world tradesman,
Yeah.
right? You've done the sport,
Yeah.
chasing a sport, like training routine. I don't know how severe it is for the bobsled team, but you said the testing's like a NFL combine, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be in shape.
And like I would be there. So like for November, I think like if November has 30 days, we were probably in a sled more than 20 days.
Really?
And it's like in the morning you're at the gym lifting weights,
Yeah.
go take a nap and eat lunch, and at night you're in a sled.
Right. So you know what it's about.
Yeah.
And then you got a powerlifting background.
yeah. So
and obviously just gym rat overall because you deal with people dealing with or trying to get muscles, right? Putting on muscles
Yeah.
or rehab or
yeah. So like even though I compete at powerlifting, I've competed at powerlifting 6 years now. It's like 4 different weight classes. Like I was 146, I was 165, I was 183. So 3 weight classes. And then I traveled to Portugal for Worlds one year, the WPC. I've cut like 20 pounds to do a powerlifting meet.
Yeah. How'd that go?
in how long?
Under 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I always tell people, I'm like, oh, I cut 20 pounds. It takes me like 10, 14 days. It's probably like 3 days though, to be honest with you. I'm pretty
You
lazy about
procrastinated
it.
all, yeah.
I wait till Wednesday, then weigh in Saturday, and I just water cut the rest of it.
I always try to do it too, but it's like same deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's stress that gets rid of my weight half the time because I panic so hard.
yeah.
I look at the scale, I'm like, holy shit, I'm never gonna make it. I did a huge one my last fight, the biggest I've ever done, and it was just so scary. But I think once the stress kicks in, it just sheds it away.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. Like I competed in a federation that allowed a 24-hour weigh-in because
Oh,
I
yeah.
just did powerlifting to cut weight.
That's sweet.
I didn't even care about lifting weight.
You want to do the weight cut process?
Yeah, I just wanted to cut weight.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I don't compete in the UFC, but I'm like, I watch these guys cut like 20, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to try that. And then like powerlifting, like it's just exercising in front of people. Like powerlifting is the world's boring sport. Like it's like a Metallica backyard barbecue, but like there's weights involved. So yeah,
Way less barbecue though. It's a bummer.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was like, oh man, let's see how weight cut goes. So yeah, I used to walk around at like 176, 179. I'd cut to 146.
Wow. Crazy.
So I did it more for that than I did to lift weights.
It's funny. I follow a weight cutting program that was built by a power lifter.
Oh, no way.
I think it was a Croc something.
Oh, is it Matt Kroc?
Matt Kroc?
Yeah, I don't know. Croc is his nickname. Monster.
Okay, it's probably Matt Kroc then.
Oh, it could
I
be.
think, what's his name now? He's not.
I don't know. It's
not Matt
something
anymore.
female, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now it's Jenna or Jen.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same guy who shot my film with Blue Star shot the documentary on her.
Oh, no way. Oh,
Transformer.
cool. Yeah.
That's winning
Yeah,
those
yeah,
awards. Yeah. Michael at
The place.
his company. Sorry,
Awesome, man.
Michael Del Monte.
Shout
He's
out.
awesome. He's awesome. But yeah,
Shout out
so
Michael Del Monte.
so I followed that a little bit just because he was doing it. And holy shit, man!
Yeah.
I'd never put two and two together. That's the same person.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Light bulb, yeah.
Yeah, because in his formula, he does like a 30-pound plus cut in 24 hours.
Yeah. I know Carol.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's got
Brian
that book.
Carroll.
Yeah.
He has that book. I downloaded that book on water cutting. Similar idea.
Yeah.
Just-
I think he's
Did you do
more
the
like 7
bathtubs?
days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Did you do a bathtub water?
Yeah, I
cut?
did. Yeah, like
Fuck,
the
they
super
suck.
hot water.
Oh, they
Yeah.
suck.
That's the worst part. It's
yeah.
excruciating. I never want to do that
And
again.
I just hear my heart go boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. Like this might be the end. This
Yeah.
might be.
And when
the
you
end.
cut enough weight, like you're so sluggish. Like you can hardly think. You can hardly
yeah.
move.
Yeah.
Like it's awful.
At first, when I was cutting weight for my last fight with my roommates, I'd get out of the tub, put a towel on me, then they'd come wrap me up. By the end, I was falling on the floor, my dick's hanging out.
Yeah.
I'm like, just cover me, boys.
Give me
Just
the
cover me.
towel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you transform pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I remember like cutting weight and like not being able to eat by the end of it, and like I would chew ice cubes and spit them out.
Yeah, spit
Yeah.
them out. That's like mentally satisfying. I
Yeah,
find.
you're like,
when,
oh, just chew it.
when I'm going crazy, it's just like,
It's the best part, man. That and like sour candy and like chewing
Dude.
it, spitting it out.
oh, dude, that's the worst. I don't even like talking about it.
Yeah, it's
It's
traumatic.
ruined. Yeah, it's ruined. Like nice little warm tub. You know, a hot tub.
Yeah.
Take the lady in the hot tub. As soon as I start sweating, I'm like, fuck it. I gotta get up.
Yeah. That mental switch goes. Yeah, pupils
Survival.
dilate. Yeah.
Anyways, before we get, you got to reel us in, Bill, because
Yeah.
We're getting into
going
the weight
nuts
cut
here.
hole.
yeah, exactly. We're
So
gonna
let's do a quick speed round.
all right, speed bag 'em.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Number one most important question. Who's the hottest Disney princess?
Jasmine.
Nice. Favorite supplement?
Ephedrine.
Yeah, we talked about
Banned. I'm getting banned.
that. You're no more IPF. Have you ever ripped your pants at the gym?
More than once.
Yeah. Doing what exercise?
Showing a client how to squat.
Beautiful.
Bad day for skinny jeans.
yeah.
What's your favorite shitty food?
Favorite shitty food
Yeah.
would be, Mexican's not shitty, so pizza.
Pizza, yeah. That's
Yeah.
your go-to.
I'm going to go to pizza for the shit.
Nice. Most hated piece of equipment at the gym?
The Fit Fix back extension, if you go to a Good Life.
Oh, yeah. In the circuit section?
Yeah, the back pad one where you lean back. Get that fuck
Ass or titties.
ass.
I would sure Muscle Bill would ask you, so I had to.
That's the most important question.
Yeah. If you had one exercise, or what's your favorite exercise?
Oh, favorite exercise?
Yeah.
All-time favorite, probably pull-ups. I'm going to
Nice.
go pull-ups on that one.
All right. Morning sex or night?
Morning.
Nice. And as I ask everybody, what did you have for supper last night?
Last night I had a steak and purple sweet potatoes.
Where do you find those?
I found them at Fortino's. It's really weird. They almost taste like blue raspberry to me.
Purple better?
Interesting.
I don't know if they're better for you. Apparently they're high in potassium, but they taste
Yeah.
better than sweet potato.
I've
And they
never
don't get mushy. You can bake them for like 3 hours and
Really?
they're like still starchy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if I've ate
So
one.
in going on that, how strict are you on your nutrition?
I could go with a cliche answer of like 80-20, but it's probably even more than that because I strictly eat the same junk food every week too.
Oh, nice.
So no, I meal prep and eat the exact same foods every day. So I recently switched to cream of rice, but prior to that I was eating oatmeal.
Right.
And then I eat 2 meals of jasmine rice and ground beef. And then for dinner, I usually have steak and rice.
Simple.
And that's Monday through Friday. Friday night, I eat at a Chinese food restaurant and I get dumplings.
Awesome.
Saturday, probably have a steak. Sunday, probably have ground beef and rice while I'm doing meal prep.
How often do you have pizza then?
Pizza's once a month now. I used to
Okay.
eat pizza all the time. I was like once, twice a week.
Yeah, right.
And I stopped eating pizza and I have like no desire to eat it anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, just it's like out the window. I had pizza a couple weeks ago, it was all right, but like I could also never eat a pizza again and probably be fine.
Really?
I eat an ice cream a day though.
Oh, nice. Okay, there. I'm with you, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
So-
do all that other shit too if there was ice cream once a day.
So like prepackaged drumstick ice cream, I eat one drumstick every single day.
Good.
Yeah.
There, you are human.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. So like your shit food's pizza, but you never could eat it again, but I have ice cream every day.
Yeah. Well, ice cream's not shit food, right? Like I think that
Oh, it's great for you.
serves performance in some way.
Yeah.
There's fat and sugar and carbs.
Yeah, I mean, everything has some sort of...
And then so if I eat the ice cream, then I don't eat rice with the steak.
Yep.
I have a steak and an ice cream instead of steak and rice.
Yeah,
And
it's
that-
beautiful.
That's strict though, eh?
Yeah.
Every day.
I believe in this idea that like I don't like to eat at work, so I don't eat things I like at work. And I'm at work from 6 a.m. to 7
All day.
p.m., so
Yeah.
I'll just eat white rice and ground beef. I don't taste it anyways. I'm just
Right.
eating and training the next
Just
client.
fuel, yeah.
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 So you track macros and stuff then? Is that kind of your...
No.
Would you have any idea? Like you obviously are familiar with it, but...
Yeah, I think at any given time I probably eat like between 150 to 190 grams of protein, and then probably close to 200 grams of carbs, and then 60 to 70 grams of fat. If I count macros, I count it for a week. Just whenever I change foods, I'll
Yeah,
count
right.
macros that 1 week, and then I don't need to track them ever again because I don't do flexible dieting. I just eat the exact same thing every day.
Yep, that's what I'm at. I don't like doing macros either. I could care less. It's like I'd rather weigh my food and then okay, fine, figure it out once. But like I don't give a fuck how many carbs are in my rice. I just
Yeah.
want to know if it's 100 grams or 150,
Yeah.
and I'm good.
Yeah, and I just bought like measuring cups at the dollar store, and I eat
Yep.
a cup of rice and half a cup of ground beef. And it's like, man, if I got fat,
You
then
don't
I would
put
eat
anything
it.
on it.
I used Cholula
Oh, yeah.
jalapeno
Yeah,
hot sauce,
sauce?
the green
Cholula.
one. Shout out the green hot sauce. It's the best.
yeah.
I never use a green hot sauce.
Really?
It's a little scary to me. Yeah, it's not that hot, but in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to eat fucking green sauce.
I don't know. I
not
hate
relish.
I hate the red one.
I
Really?
love rice and beef though.
Yeah,
That's
rice
such
and
a good
beef's the
combo.
best one.
The whatever you were just talking about, cream of rice, is it? Muscle
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah.
Joel's had a real problem
Yeah,
with this. So
I'm having.
I made a protein powder, cream of rice, a little bit of peanut butter, and cinnamon.
This is a
Basically,
good
super
snack
simple.
for anyone
Yeah.
listening. How do you make it? Sorry.
I think it was like a third of a cup of cream of rice, roughly. A scoop of protein. I put a little bit of water in and stir it around, and then I put a spoon of peanut butter, a little cinnamon on top, and it's just a real easy
Such
snack.
an easy snack.
There's not much to it, but when I made it, it was kind of palatable. And Joel made it was like a bowl of sand.
Yeah, it's like sand, man.
He's like, he called me. He's like, man, what was in that box you brought me? I'm like, cream of rice. He's like, yeah, so I bought that shit. And it tastes fucking terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible.
like, nah, man,
So I
it's-
got to give it another shot here, and you
Yeah.
say you eat it too. So I must have fucked up because you guys wouldn't eat it if it was like the way
Yeah.
I had it.
No, like I eat it pre-workout, and I was eating oatmeal, and it was all right. But like sometimes, I don't know, like I would either feel like I was still hungry, or I just, I wouldn't feel the best when I was training. And then, rice is easier to digest than oatmeal. It's also gluten-free if you're celiac.
Yep.
So I started doing cream of rice. The weirdest thing was like, it's just rice, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
creamed rice. Like I had this idea in my mind, it tasted different, but I'm like, this just tastes like the white rice I'd eat at lunch.
I eat every other meal.
Yeah, so I was like,
rice,
oh,
yeah.
great, another meal of rice. This is more exciting. Not.
What do you put in it then?
I just use that Walden Farms pancake syrup.
Sure.
Put that shit on everything.
And no protein, a straight carb intake.
Oh, yeah, no, just
nice.
cream of rice.
Is that just special syrup or regular syrup, or is there something
Sugar
it's
special?
like
about it?
sugar-free.
Yeah.
So I think it has sugar alcohols in it probably.
Yeah.
But it says sugar-free, so, no macros there.
No, I don't track my macros anyways.
Yeah.
So if you're hungrier on one day to the next, you don't eat more?
To be honest, not really.
No.
I might eat... If I eat more, it'll usually be around a workout. Like if I eat the cream of rice when I normally do, and then I'm still hungry before I work out, I'll eat a granola bar maybe, or I'll just eat another serving of cream of rice.
No fruit?
No, I can't even think of a fruit.
Really?
A name of any fruit. But
Fruit's been a tough one for me.
I
been
love
feeling like
fruit.
it. Yeah, I
I
like
eat fruit
apples and
all
oranges have
day.
been big lately. I don't know why.
yeah, I don't eat any fruits, and I don't eat any vegetables.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Really?
Amen.
Yeah.
I'm into the vegetables.
Yeah.
I think like until I don't eat the ice cream and the dumplings on Friday, I feel like there's a diminishing return on the vegetables. That's my argument. I'm like, I'm not getting anything out of them anyways. I have more room to improve somewhere else.
My lowest hanging fruit is not vegetables.
Yeah,
it's-
exactly.
it's
I'm
removing
all
ice
about the
cream.
lowest hanging fruit.
So-
And it's not vegetables.
So why do you track your food so much? Is it a weight maintenance thing or is it?
Not really. Like I weigh in now under my weight class. Like I compete 83, but I weigh like anywhere between 77 and 79. So I'm not really worried about if I put on weight. Like it'd be great if I put on 4 kg even. I wouldn't be upset. But I think it's just routine. It's very simple.
Right.
Like if I had to make a new meal on Sunday, it would be stressful. I'd be like, well, how do I make this? And like how much time does it take?
Yeah.
How much food do I have to buy? Like I eat ground beef and rice because it's really quick and simple and it's cheap, right?
Yeah.
Like I can get a week's worth of ground beef for $15 and
Yeah.
a $7 bag of rice lasts a month.
Right.
Wow, yeah.
So it's like, oh, this is great. Like I just eat forever
Yeah,
this way and it's
exactly.
simple. In the summer when you could barbecue, like instead of ground beef and rice, I would eat chicken thighs and sweet potatoes just because I could put them on the barbecue.
Sure.
But that was the only difference. And I just ate the equivalent amount of those foods every day.
So more so for anything, it's just it's taking out that stressor,
Eliminating stressors at all
just
times.
creating routine.
Yeah.
Smart.
A lot of your life is about efficiency, right? Whether it's exercise or diet and whatever.
Yeah, I think like
And-
the idea of like Joel said is eliminating stressors. Like
Yeah.
any extraneous stress is stress. Like stress is an aggregate. So imagine a big bowl. I always say like a big bowl of candy or like Chex Mix, right? You got Cheerios, you got Chex, you got pretzels. It's Chex Mix. It's a big bowl of stuff. Stress is the same way. Like sleep, diet, not having money, training, all those are going to end up being stress at the end of the day. So just eliminate it where you don't need it.
Right.
So you talked about low hanging fruits, kind of your whole deal.
Yeah.
Which is great, and I think we should talk about training a little bit as far as what kind of philosophies do you apply to training with regards to a low hanging fruit sort of strategy? Then, like, how do you apply that to your clients or to yourself?
Yeah, so with working with Prescript, like there's a model of stability, skill, and strength, or stability, skill, output, depending on where you're going with it. And that low-hanging fruit would be stability. So anything that deviates center of mass reduces base of support. And I think that's a good jump-off point for a lot of people, especially strength training athletes. Like you probably don't need to do reverse band, Zercher, pin squat. Like you probably just need to get better at standing on one leg. But low-hanging fruit for me would be skill acquisition. Like me and Joel were talking about it. Me and Bill were talking about it earlier. People don't spend enough time getting better at a skill before they look for strategies. Mm-hmm. So I think the low-hanging fruit ends up being, number one, like cognitive skills. So neurologically, like does your body know what it needs to do? When someone says knees out, do you know how to push your knee out? You know what I mean? Like when someone says, press your palms into the bar, do you really know what that feels like? So I think developing those low neurological cues for yourself and adapting them to whatever sport you play is the low-hanging fruit.
Sure.
So in my sport of powerlifting, that would be specificity. So if I do low bar squat, I'm going to literally do as much low bar squat as I humanly can until I can't recover from it. And then I will get less specific, or I will vary the squat I do to accommodate for the fatigue.
Right. And as far as that, like, something we talked a little bit about earlier was about understanding the reason why you're doing something. So not only doing things at a higher frequency to acquire the skill, but understanding the purpose behind why you're doing it in the first place.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
100%. Like if you were to look at any discipline, it's having an intention walking into the gym and trying to match that intention. So if we're going to talk about the gym specifically, it's like the medium is the message. Match your intention with a modality that best suits your means. So today we went to a gym I've never been to before.
Yeah.
What was it?
East End Gym. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out East End Gym. So I've never seen this gym before. I loved it. Super old school. We were going to train back today. So the first thing I knew is we're going to go in for more of a hypertrophy mindset. So walking into the gym, you just kind of look around. You start to address modalities, right? Are we going to use a cable machine? What's a cable best used for? What rep scheme goes with that? If I'm going to use a barbell, what am I doing with it? So it's having that intention, right? So powerlifting, like if you want to be a powerlifter, man, like your intention's to move weight, like you should be under that barbell for the significant portion of your training. If you're a bodybuilder, you should be, finding any exercise that moves origin to insertion closer together. And I think that's the one thing people lack is an intention and critical thought process.
Sure. So how would you sort of extrapolate that into something people can apply? Like, okay, you need to improve your thought process. Well, what does that look like?
Yeah. So first of all, in the gym, it's like addressing modalities with their given intention. So let's start with the barbell. A barbell is all go, right? Like there's no limit to how much you can load a bar, just how many plates you can fit on it. So it's like, man, if you're going to get under a barbell, you better be willing to take it to the house, right? Like you're going heavy, should be, 8 reps or less, probably 5 reps or less, right? Like that's a strength movement. And like we should be looking to add weight every time we use it. Develop skill, lift weight.
Now, do you recommend explosiveness during that time as well? Or is it more of a controlled with intention, like in more of a hypertrophy kind of?
I think that lends itself to sport specificity.
Sure.
But also, I don't see a big carryover to doing barbell movements explosively for sport.
Sure.
Because they usually don't lend themselves to unilateral training. So shout out Mike Boyle. He's a huge strength and conditioning coach in hockey. He pretty much, don't misquote me on this, but doesn't squat or deadlift his clients. He uses variations of those, but unilaterally. So he'll do B stance RDL. He'll do lunge.
Yeah.
He loads those movements. Athletes are never on 2 feet in the same place. Their feet are always switched into either gait cycle or something else. So if you're going to load an athlete explosively, a barbell is probably not the modality you choose, right?
Sure.
It's probably going to be a dumbbell because you're loading unilaterally.
Right.
So to train barbell explosively, the intensity's too low and the intention's completely gone, right? Like unless you got 80% on that bar, you're probably not doing the right thing.
Sure. So when you're, say, structuring your workout, you go in potentially to do the barbell, regardless of placement, you're going to probably plan to do a lower rep scheme
100%.
at a heavier weight.
You got it.
In a controlled manner.
You got it.
For sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like, nice controlled eccentric, explosive on the concentric side of the movement. Because again, like with the barbell, gravity is not your friend.
Right.
So you're going to move more explosively through concentric just because you're defeating gravity. And yeah, I'm going to go lower rep scheme. My intensity will be higher perceived to where it's placed in the workout. If I do it first, obviously I can take it to the house. That's going to be attenuated if I put the barbell at the end of the workout, right?
Yep.
A dumbbell's like our carryover between stability and strength. It's going to be half stability, half strength. Therefore, the reps are going to be in the middle, right? We're not going to train 3 reps of dumbbell press like everybody who tells you they can press 100s.
Yeah.
Everybody can press 100s for 3, right? Like, where's that guy doing 100s for 12? So dumbbells sit in
Half Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dumbbells sit in the middle, right? Like we're training 8 to 12 reps with dumbbells. You can go slow eccentric, slow concentric if you like. You can play with position. Just because a dumbbell is way more ergonomic to train with.
Sure.
We can get you into better positions. And then after dumbbell, like let's move to a cable machine. Cable machine obviously is not externally supported for the most part. Like most often cables are like a free motion machine.
Yep.
So you're in space, you're going to have to deal with, finding center of gravity, externally supporting yourself somehow. Those reps are going to be higher, right? We're probably training smaller muscle groups there. So to get to a point of fatigue, we're probably going to be higher within, like the 12 to 20 rep range.
Right.
So when you're getting on a cable machine, don't load it and take it to the house for one, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have the ability now to move through shorten and lengthen positions, like use that to your advantage and physiologically fatigue.
So as far as machines go, then, like, where would you place that in the place or in a workout, or would you utilize them at all?
I love like machines, like you could call them, externally supported machines, pulley and cam machines, fixed apex machines, leg press, horizontal chest press. I love them. They're fully externally supported. So in that regard, you can go heavy, but you can also go to a lot of reps.
Right.
It's going to be way more efficient on my breathing to use a machine because my lumbar spine's supported, so I don't have to stabilize as much. Mm-hmm. So, you can sit on a leg press for 12 to 20 reps. You can sit on a chest press for 12 to 20 reps.
Yep.
And you can go heavy because I can lean back into that pad, right? Most machines put you at a mechanical advantage to the machine.
Yeah, right. And you can sort of manipulate your body into the intended strength curve or whatever, right? Position. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So
sure.
if I have clients that are more body compositional, and based on their stability, the barbell is not an output exercise. We'll go to a machine for the mid-range of the movement. So in hypertrophy, a way of managing fatigue or increasing volume is to train length-tension relationship of muscles. So starting with a shortened position because you're going to fatigue in the shortened position first, moving to a mid-range, finishing with a lengthened position. That's like the bottom end of a bicep curl where you can hardly bend your arm.
Yeah.
That would attenuate fatigue, allow you to train one muscle group for an entire hour because we're constantly deviating range of motion. If your output isn't a barbell, go to a machine for your mid-range, right? Like sit on that chest press for as many sets as it takes to be fatigued.
Give an example for one muscle group, a short, mid, and a high.
Yeah, so let's
3
go.
exercises.
Yeah, let's go short, mid, long for chest.
Okay.
This would be a good one.
Yep.
So if we look at training the chest, 3 muscle lengths, first movement could be cable fly, like a decline cable fly. Decline meaning your hands are coming from a higher position to a lower position.
Yep.
Yeah, coming down. I'm able to hit shortened position of my chest. I can manipulate the position of my wrist to encourage the most internal rotation possible. That's going to be shortened. For a client who's not going to be using a barbell, go to horizontal chest press or dumbbell press. That becomes your mid-range. Understanding that this is a mid-range movement, like use tempo appropriately, right?
Yeah.
Sit in the stretch. You don't need to lock the elbows out. We're never going to get fully shortened anyways. The minute you start locking out joints, start using tricep more anyway. From there, once we got off the chest press, you could go over to, say, a pec deck if you really wanted to. I think that would be a great lengthened position just because we can sit back in that stretch and I'm not too worried about coming all the way forward.
And the external rotation, did you say that that's beneficial as well then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely the external rotation. For that, even you could go again and sit on another cable fly, but you could do like an incline bench cable fly. This allows you to externally rotate, allows the scap to be supported. It allows you to sit in that lengthened position. 2, because as the cables deviate from perpendicular to the pulley, they're going to lose tension. So as we get out of that lengthened position, I'm going to lose load anyways.
Yep.
So I'll sit on an incline bench, fully stabilize my scap, and just train that lengthened position of the chest. So just coming from behind my peripheral vision to just in front.
So for the untrained eye, if they saw you in the gym, they'd say, why the hell is that guy doing partial reps?
Correct.
Right? But in your mind, you're thinking, well, you're the dummy because I have intention.
100%.
And this is exactly what I'm intending to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think partial range of motion training doesn't work for strength necessarily. And if you came in and you only ever trained the shortened position, you only ever
Right.
trained the lengthened position, that's not going to work. But if you're placing them intelligently in a workout, to the trained eye or to somebody who saw you train more than once a week, they would see that you're just attenuating fatigue, increasing the volume of your workout.
Sure.
And choosing a modality or a position that best suits those lengths, right? Like getting yourself into a position where you can take each length to the house, right?
Right.
Do you do that every time then? You hit those 3 lengths for every time you train a muscle group?
Yeah, anytime I
really?
train
So
a
that's
muscle
part
group.
of your protocol.
Yeah,
regardless whether your intention's to grow muscle strength.
It would always be my protocol when it comes to growing muscle.
Okay.
Strength, I would choose a different template.
Okay.
But if I was going with the idea of hypertrophy, building muscle, I would use that template every time. Short, mid, long.
Right. Makes sense for packing on the muscle,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Just allows me to sit and do chest for an hour.
And modalities, so that means the tool you're using.
Yeah,
Is that what
modality
you
would
mean
be
by modalities.
Yeah,
like
so
when
the
you're saying the
tool in the gym.
barbell, the dumbbell, or the
Correct.
Okay, so that's like the tool. Okay, so sum it up. Your intention, just because if someone wants to bring all that information
Yeah.
and put it real basic,
Yeah.
you have to have your intention. So your first thing is what? First off, are you building muscle
Or getting stronger.
or getting stronger, right?
Yeah.
So that would be one of the first steps. Figure out that's what you want,
Yeah,
one or the other.
100%.
Second one, what would you say?
Second one, once I've chosen what my intention is what modalities am I going to use?
And now after the modalities, now you're thinking sets and reps type deal?
Yeah, I would probably go once I see the modalities that I have available.
Yeah.
Then I would choose which one I use for short, mid range, and
Okay,
long.
muscle lengths.
And then I would go to sets and reps.
Sets and reps.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's intentions right there off
Correct.
the get go.
100%.
Nice. I like that layout. Just
Yeah.
it's basic. It's smart.
Yeah.
It's effective.
Yeah. I would take the shortened and lengthened exercise choice to complete fatigue because those are most efficient. I'm most likely training that muscle in isolation or I'm disadvantaging things around it.
Right.
In the mid-range exercise, I'm not going to take to complete fatigue just because there's other muscles involved, right? I'm not just
Right.
hitting chest, I'm hitting
Yeah.
anterior delt, I'm hitting tricep. So I'd probably have more of a controlled set and rep range there just because it's something I do in the middle just to give myself a break. But the other two, I would take to complete failure, shortened and lengthened.
So today when we're doing that row, were we kind of hitting 2 types then? The shortened and the kind of a mid-range? Because that first one was like a
Yeah.
tightened one, right? Just
Yeah.
a short movement, power squeeze the whole time. Then we kind of had some,
Yeah.
like a medium range the next step.
For sure, yeah.
Would
So
you
that
say?
the first, we initiated with the trap, getting the trap into a shortened position. We were externally supported. Our chest was supported.
Yeah.
And then from there, we were taking lats, you could say the lats were in a mid-range position, right? They weren't fully getting shortened.
No,
They weren't fully getting lengthened. So lats were sitting mid-range, traps were sitting fully shortened. From there, when you went and saved those 2 houses and saved the day like a rescue hero, we went over to an exercise that allowed us to put our lat into a fully shortened position. And then we started with an exercise that put our lats into a fully lengthened position.
Yeah, with those the rope pull downs, remember?
That rope pull down.
Yeah. Okay. So you went
that's lengthened. Yeah. Long,
short.
medium, short. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hell of a thing. Those kneeling, I don't even know what pull downs, whatever.
Yeah, just like a kneeling lat pull down.
Yeah.
And you're pretty humble
Intense.
with the way you go. You're not going just beast like.
No, I just try and keep tempo consistent. I got a lot of time in the gym, right? I got an hour. I'm gonna sit on something and warm up gradually until I get to a load that feels good, and I'm just gonna sit there.
Yeah, you're humble about it. You know what I mean? You're getting your good range in. You're getting your good squeeze in. You're not putting on 10 plates of trying to.
Yeah, again, I think that comes down to that intention, right? Like my intention is to put tension across fiber, not get stronger. Like if we were going in today and like we were trying to get strong, let's deadlift, let's bench. You know what I mean? And then, let's take it to the house. You know what I mean? Like let's do 1 to 3 reps. Let's try and be explosive. You know what I mean? Let's get fired up. But I don't think we need ammonia and ephedrine to hit a quick back workout at the East End gym. You know what I mean?
It always helps. But.
Yeah.
And sort of a leading question then, do you have any resources for someone? It's okay if I'm sitting at home listening to this thinking, okay, that's great, I have some information, but where do I go to try and actually learn about what all this means or how to apply it? Like, do you have any resources you recommend people check out?
I think the number one resource, like a lot of people ask me, like, what's the best book for hypertrophy? Like muscle, I want to build muscle. What book do I buy? Who do I watch? First step, man, buy a book on anatomy. Buy like Netter's Human Anatomy. Netter's like a clinical anatomy textbook company. They make a coloring book. If you want an adult coloring book, buy that. Or just buy an anatomy textbook. I have another one. I think it's the Manual Therapist's Handbook of the Body.
Right.
Another one's like Trail Guide to the Human Body. These are books on anatomy.
Anatomy Trains is something that's talked about a lot. Like, that's a big one.
Thomas Myers Anatomy Trains. He'll explain to you a lot of things about posterior oblique swing, fascia of the body, and then just getting yourself a general understanding of human anatomy. The website exrx.net. You can literally type any muscle into this website.
Sure.
And it will tell you the function, the action, agonist, antagonist, and synergistic muscles to that muscle. So you can figure out how to train it from there, right? Like
you said, once you know that, it doesn't matter what's at the gym. Yeah. You know that for this to work, it needs to go to here to here. So I don't care if I got all this equipment. All I need is, like you said, you use a doorway.
Yeah.
Use your t-shirt.
Yeah.
Wrap around a doorknob if you need to.
100%, right? Yeah. It's like if you have that guy like understanding of the anatomy, like you have the base level code, right? Like you're not in the matrix, you're writing the matrix at that point, right? Like
and if you don't know anatomy, you can't be being that efficient at the gym.
Correct.
You can't.
No, you can't. Like this goes back to the idea of like, being a carpenter is great and like knowing how to use a saw, but like unless I understand physics, I can't build a house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know how many 2x4s I need, or I don't know how to cut cut the studs or how to cut the rafters. So it's like, as a carpenter, like your ability to build a house isn't limited by your ability to use your hands. It's your ability to understand wood and physics and weather and climate and where you live. So your ability as a bodybuilder to put on muscle isn't limited by how much pre-workout you take. It's limited by your ability to understand the human body and how it functions and actions.
No doubt. You ever read that Subtle Leopard?
Supple Leopard by K-Star? Yeah, I read that back in the day. It's probably one of the first books I bought. And you know what? It got me nice and mobile. I, put my legs over my head, and that's kind of where it stopped, right? Like, no disservice to him, not talking shit.
That's like my Kama Sutra experience.
Yeah. I think it's like the Kama Sutra of the gym, right? Like everybody bought that book and they spent so much time trying to get into those positions, and guess what? No one came.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
speak for yourself, man.
It's like, everybody was rolling around with green bands tied around their throat, and I was squatting 500 pounds. So, but I think it provided at the time mobility to people who didn't know what that word meant.
Right.
Now I think that it's like, what's the next step? Now it's stability, right? And hopefully with Prescript, that's where we kind of bridge the gap. It's like, okay, cool. All you guys have green bands wrapped around your throat and you're hanging from the ceiling. like Keith Carradine, and it's like, what do you do next? Well, you learn kung fu, man.
You
So
get a belt.
Did we explain what prescript
So
is
that's exactly where we're going to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everybody
We mentioned
listening
it a
probably
few
doesn't
times.
know. What's prescript?
So Prescript, it's a company started by Dr. Jordan Shallow, Dr. Jordan Junta, and a few other partners in that. And what we are now is we're just an education and coaching company. We travel across the globe, teaching fitness professionals, coaches, strength coaches, therapists, how to utilize a systems way of thinking versus thinking in a system. So again, encouraging critical thinking, encouraging understanding of the anatomy first, and then from there, basing your own opinions off of that when you're looking at your client. Again, you're not, case studies don't walk through your door. Human people walk through your door, and it goes back to that idea. Like, if I know how the human body moves, I can fix anything.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and being able to recognize how they're not moving is almost as effective as moving correctly.
Exactly.
Sure.
Right. I think a good way of thinking is painting a picture with an eraser, not with a paintbrush.
Right.
So don't start with an empty canvas and paint what you think is there.
Right.
Start with an eraser and erase what's not there.
Yeah.
And that's what I go about, like with the demographic I train with the people that have injuries. I don't go into it with a preconceived notion of what's going on. I go in trying everything and just erasing what doesn't work.
Sure.
This intentions part, that's part of prescript, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. So like prescripts, founded really a lot on the idea that, intention over everything. And it's funny kind of how I met Shallow and Junta was I took a course with them. And at the time I was training clients and I hadn't taken a prescript course, didn't really know what it was about. I met Shallow, he's a nice guy. So I decided to support him, come to his course. And they threw this thing up on the board, mobility, stability, strength. And at the time I was using a table of skill acquisition to train my clients. So client sessions were broken down into like cognitive skill, associative skill, autonomous skill. To explain those terms better, it would be like moving through stability, something with one leg, understanding how that leg works or understanding how that shoulder works. The next step was skill. So I'd move them through some type of skilled movement. Autonomous would be, a movement where you just hit go, right? So skill would be a back squat. Autonomous would be the leg press.
Sure.
Shallow throws up mobility, stability, strength. It looks awfully similar to my triangle of skill acquisition. Talk with Shallow after, show him the pyramid that I made. And he thinks, he says to me, either we're both crazy or we're both on the right track. And things kind of went from there.
Nice.
Really similar intentions on both sides. And before working with Prescript, I ran a coaching business called Intent Training Systems.
There you go.
So it's like intention from day one. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So then, okay, how are things looking for you now? So you're working with Prescript, that's relatively new.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now? What's coming up?
So big things for me next month in February. Me and Prescript, me and Jordan Schaller are going to be in Whitby, Ontario, teaching an exclusive Good Life course on hypertrophy. So a lot of what we spoke of today: muscle length, tension relationships, understanding the anatomy, picking appropriate modalities. From there, the next week we're going to be in Calgary, teaching more of an assessment style look at mobility, stability. And then after that, we're taking a trip out to California. So a big month of February, and scattered throughout the year, there'll be more Prescript courses for Good Life, as well as PSL1, which is a more broad range of online coaching through Prescript for therapists or strength coaches.
Mm-hmm. This is an online course people can take?
Yeah.
To be what? Like to be certified
to be a
under...
certified Prescript coach.
Oh, to be a coach.
Yeah, so it'll be searchable through Prescript.
Can you take the course not to be a coach, but just to take it as a learning?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine right now taking it, and he works with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners that are competitive, and he's taking it now just to bridge the gap between what he knows about being on the mat and what he knows about being in the gym.
Yeah.
And a lot of these same principles will apply, right? Like skill acquisition, stability, low-hanging fruit.
Right. It makes sense. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's just critical thinking, man.
How would people get a sample of this? Because I know I got a sample of it today, being able to talk to you at breakfast and going to the gym. Yeah. And I can tell you're legit. You meet some people, you're like, yeah, I don't know about this guy. But like,
yeah.
What you're saying all makes sense, because I could tell in just some of the things that I've put together over the years, like you're doing the lengthening. I was just thinking in my head, like I was going through some of the works I'm doing, like, this is the shit that I'm doing without even knowing I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just because I want the long and then I want the squeeze.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't break it into long, short, insertion, origins and all that. But what you're doing just puts it all into a very scientific way, methodical way, I guess I should put it, right?
Definitely. And that's like a step to mastering something. So if you look at like like anybody who masters a skill, like if I got called down at halftime of a basketball game and I hit a 3-point shot, everyone in the crowd's going to assume it's a fluke.
Right.
Because I walked out of the stands and I hit a 3-pointer.
Right.
Kobe Bryant walks on the court and hits 5 threes. They know it's skill. So that's the same thing with like what you're saying. You walk into the gym and you do this every day. Like you satisfy the criteria from a mechanical point of view. Like you can mechanically go through the workout. You've done it before, so you understand the sensation of what you're doing and why it makes sense. So bridging that gap to mastery or like transference to other skills would be like understanding the intelligent design behind it, right? And now you do.
Right.
You've been doing it right all along, but the limiting factor would be you teaching someone else this.
Yes.
So it's like, again, it goes back to that quote about the carpenter or the brain surgeon, right? The
Right.
brain surgeon can know everything about medical science, but he's clumsy with his hands, he kills people.
Right.
So it's like his ability to master his craft depends on his ability to use fine tools.
So is there a way that someone could get almost like a sample of this without taking the course? Like, do you have videos out there?
Yeah, like you can check out YouTube, the Muscle Doc, Prescript as well. Prescript's YouTube channel's got a ton of clips of Junta and Shallow talking.
Okay, I've seen some of his Instagrams, some Muscle Doc's Instagrams.
Yeah,
and
Muscle
some
Doc
of the things
as
he's
well.
releasing, especially lately, I find.
Oh, yeah.
They're sweet, man.
Yeah.
The one was it was like a back pull, but using
Oh, it has the 2 handles.
yeah,
right?
the 2
Yeah.
handles there. I like that shit.
Yeah, man. So like you can check out either myself, Killian Hamilton on Instagram, or the Muscle Doc, or Red, White, and Jordan, or the Functional Chiro, which is Jordan Junta of Prescript, or check out Prescript itself, where we repost everything and all of our information's there.
Yep.
Muscle Doc's going to give you like a really good insight into like boots on the ground, like how to train in the gym. Junta's going to give you a really good look into training as well, and then if you want to look at my page, it's probably me in small shorts spouting philosophy. But, you know, again, like, you know, pick your poison and whatever flavor you like, follow them.
Yeah.
With legs like that, you're allowed short shorts.
Yeah. That's the reason I don't wear short shorts.
That's the rule, man.
It's the reason I stopped training arms, right? If, you know, people know that my legs are big, just get them bigger,
There you
right?
go.
Play to your strengths.
I'm the other way. My arms, I'm like, oh, my legs aren't going, but my arms are. Well, let's keep pumping them.
Yeah, I train in shorts and a hoodie, so tells you how big my legs are.
Nice. So, just to kind of go on your day to day, then, how do you apply all this stuff to yourself? So you're working long days. You've got a big schedule coming up this year. Lots on the go.
Yeah.
How do you kind of prioritize your day, or like what does that look like? And what I'm getting at is how would somebody take a step towards having a day similar to yours? Like, you know what? I want legs like Killian Hamilton. I want to be super smart and be able to apply this critical thinking to my life. What do you do like tomorrow morning? What's a typical day like?
Yeah, man. I think like the big thing, like everyone's going to tell you this, right? I'm not going to be the first person to say it. I won't be the last. It's goal setting, and not goal setting in terms of like writing down, I want to make X amount of money. I want to do this. Like when we goal set, we focus on results. We don't focus on behaviors. Mm-hmm. So I think number one is focus on winning behaviors. Winning results will occur. Like basketball games aren't won because people win. Basketball games are won by a result of the other team scored less baskets than you. You didn't even need to play offense. You just needed to play defense. So in achieving goals, I think it's about that mindset of like defensive behaviors. Like if I want to train 15 clients and I want to be at the gym from 6 to 9 p.m. and still get a workout in, the defensive behavior is scheduling my workout like a client, not scheduling people into that time, right? So that's number one. Like I schedule all my workouts a week in advance. Number two is I eat similar foods. I'm not worried about where my food's coming from that day. That's a Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't have to worry about nutrition. That's solved. So that's my other defensive behavior.
Yep.
And two is finding something that doesn't relax you but brings you joy. It's something Muscle Bill brought up. It's not about becoming relaxed. It's about finding something that brings you joy. And for me, that's reading. I like reading a lot. So every paycheck, I buy 2 books off Amazon. I'll usually buy 2 books with either competing views, or I'll buy 2 books of different disciplines. So I'll usually read some book on exercise science, some book on philosophy. I try and find ideas that mirror each other in those books. And I just set aside time to read those every day. Like if I get 15 minutes, I open the book. I read as much as I can. I put it down. Mm-hmm. So I think it's celebrate behaviors, don't celebrate results. Time is just a concept. Like you get stronger when you get stronger. You lose weight when you lose weight. Your arms grow when your arms grow. You can only manage behaviors. You can never manage a result.
Right. So how do you schedule something like social media then? Because that's clearly part of your business. It's part of everything that's going on, especially now.
Yeah, man. If there was if an area of opportunity for improvement, it would be social media.
Yeah.
Nothing drives me nuts more than posting on stupid social media. So in terms of social media and, assigning a value in my day to it, at one point maybe it had very little value. Nowadays it doesn't. So it's not going into the day with an intention of posting on social media or knowing what I'm going to post.
Right.
I'll pick an hour in the day when I do it. So sometimes I'll choose like, hey, at the end of my workout, I'm going to post. I put it in my schedule, post to social media. Another part of my day, I might post at 7 p.m. at night. I don't follow like algorithms or metrics or anything for it. I just post when I want to, but I choose different times in the day to post because my motivation or my thought process will be different. So number one, I put it in my schedule. Number two, I post at a variety of times, or I write posts at a variety of times to change the motivation I have. If every day I wrote a post when I worked out, every day we'd be doing some crazy trap exercise, right? If every day I posted at 9 p.m. at night, I'd be spouting Nietzsche and Camus on the internet all day.
You're reading, yeah.
And like fucking no one wants to hear me yell philosophy into an empty room. So, I vary it, and again, I schedule it. I think the biggest thing is putting things in your schedule. Because if they're there, they're real. Like my job is very schedule based. If I have someone at 5:30 a.m., I gotta be there.
Yep.
If my workout's at 5:30 a.m., I gotta be there. If social media's at 5:30 a.m., I gotta do it.
You're there.
So it's like I've learned to develop. I've learned to live by a schedule and die by a schedule. And if you can do that, then you'll be successful.
So how do you take into account things like fatigue, basically, because it'll accumulate? I guess you just manipulate your schedule if you notice that that's becoming a thing, or
with my schedule, like I'm only going to be able to train people when I train them. I just ask people to come in when I want to train them. I don't ask them to come in when I don't.
Sure.
Everybody I train, I ask, how early can you come?
Yeah.
What time can you come tomorrow morning? I don't train people after 7 p.m. because I don't want to.
Yeah, you close your schedule, sure.
Yeah, I just go home. And they'll find another day. Like I'll train people 7 days a week if I don't have to be there after 7. But in terms of fatigue and like getting my own training in, I know what I want to accomplish in a week. I don't know what I want to accomplish per day.
Right.
So shit can hit the fan real quick. First thing I do before I train, I'll decide if I'm going to do upper or lower body. I pick some type of cognitive or stability-based exercise to do. I'll go stand on one leg if I'm going to squat. I'll do a single leg RDL. I'll do a hip airplane. If I'm falling all over the place, that's not a strength training day. It's a bodybuilding day. I'll take my knee sleeves off and I'll go sit on the leg curl, and I'll leg curl for an hour and a half if that's what that day calls for. If I go out and I do a hip airplane, I'm super stable and I'm in it, thinking properly, I'm definitely going to get under the barbell.
You're going to the house a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So, maybe the hip airplane's on a clinical assessment of allostatic load. Allostatic load's a stress versus optimum performance scale.
Right.
For anybody who wants to look that up, there's somebody smarter than me that'll explain it. But I just use that. It's cognitive. It's stability. I'm on one leg. I have to concentrate. If I'm thinking about Disney princesses or eating cream of rice, hip airplane's not going to go. So it's a really good assessment of where my head's at for the day. And from there, that'll deviate if it becomes the strength day or if it becomes a bodybuilding day.
Sure. What's hip airplane?
Hip airplane's like a deviation of center of mass from a single leg deadlift. So basically you do a single leg deadlift to the point where you're most parallel to the ground. And then at that point, you abduct through the hip or flex the glute. It should open your body up halfway. I think in yoga, they call it half moon, maybe, if you're a yogi or practitioner of that. So
do you have a band or is it
No, it's just you on your own, man. Stand on one leg, lean back, and open her up. So you can check it out on my page, on Prescript. You can YouTube it. You'll see hip airplane out there. More so than single leg deadlift, just the idea of standing one leg and, shifting your center of mass, deviating center of mass. Gives you a good idea, if you're in it that day to keep going.
Nice. So, out of curiosity, you mentioned knee sleeves and stuff. What are your thoughts on training implements like that? Knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, that kind of stuff, wrist wraps?
Yeah, I think if you compete in it, wear it.
Sure.
There's no metal out there to go no sleeves, no belt.
What about just someone like you're at home gym lifter, like I'm going to use straps on my wrists and I don't know, figure 8 straps for everything.
Yeah. Well, I think at some point you'll have a diminished rate of return on grip strength.
Sure.
But it goes back to what is the end goal. Mm-hmm. If I'm a bodybuilder and I'm training back and I want to put tension across fibers, I'm going to make sure my tempo and the load I use is controlled, but I'm going to throw straps on.
Yeah. You don't want your grip to be a limiting factor.
Exactly. The grip's not the limiting factor in me growing a huge back. If I'm a powerlifter, my grip's a huge factor in me taking a deadlift to lockout, right?
Yep.
Or me transferring force to a barbell.
Yep.
So I'll probably limit straps to top sets, and I'll probably warm up without them. And if you're just an everyday Joe, I would wager more the economic commitment of purchasing powerlifting equipment in a climate that loves to make things expensive.
Yeah, right.
You probably don't need to.
Yeah.
Like, give yourself, a pat on the back and squat 225 and,
You don't need
get
a
used
belt.
to it. You don't need a belt. You don't need straps. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You ever use the hook grip?
Yeah, when I deadlift, I do use hook grip. I found it just allows me to get into a better position, creates a longer lever, allows friction to be the defining factor in me holding onto the bar. And
I love it, man.
yeah, it's the
Changed
best.
my game.
Changed the whole game.
And like nobody knows about it. It seems like none of my friends, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all
Different
fighters.
different circles.
Yeah. They're all fighters. They're not power lifters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if I was a fighter, I think I would genuinely not do like over under grip. Like I wouldn't sacrifice
Yeah.
shoulders and biceps to deadlifting more.
Yeah,
I'd go hook grip or
it's
go
bad.
straps.
Yeah, it's bad for me, the over under.
Yeah, it'd be terrible
feel
for
good.
you. Yeah, look at your biceps, man.
But this hook grip, man,
Yeah.
changed my
Saves
life. Except
everything.
my thumbs are busted now, so I was trying to use hook grip at the gym last night, and I couldn't get my thumb, so I was barely pinching it.
Yeah.
And man, was that ever painful. Once the weight was on, I was just pinching the tip of my finger. I was like, oh.
I'd probably just use figure eights if I was you. It's easy, and then you don't have to worry about it.
I know, but I'm just one of those guys. When I put
You'll
on
push
the
it.
straps, I'm
I-
like, what the fuck?
I guess.
Why do I need these straps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd use these straps if it was an impressive weight, but it's just not.
Then you're gonna hurt yourself.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
true.
That's fair.
So in the grand scheme of things, then, what would you say your opportunity for improvement is right now? Like your greatest opportunity to improve in your day to day or in your goal setting for yourself? I'm curious what your goals are currently for yourself, but then, yeah, like everybody's got a weak point or a place that they're working on improving. You said you read a lot of books.
Yeah, so I
But-
read a lot of books, man. It's not a sign of me being more intelligent than anyone else. Like reading a lot of books and understanding a lot of books is two different things. It's like praising a guy who can do math in his head, and you can do math wrong in your head.
Sure.
So, but I think for me the biggest area of opportunity, like big goal I have, like I'm trying to go to nationals next year for powerlifting. This year I had some injuries that kept me off the platform, so next year nationals.
Which
is the goal.
federation?
CPU.
Okay. Yep.
So the drug tested, not drug free federation. But yeah, I'm going to be going to nationals for that. So it's just staying healthy and not letting the ego get the better of me. In powerlifting, I don't really think there's an off season. There's you're peaking for a meet or you're not. And if you're not peaking for a meet, like you really don't need to take it to the house. You don't need to load up a 1 rep max. So to be keeping myself in check for that,
Right.
especially when social media is always knocking on the door. And then in terms of personal development for me, it's just going to be learning more. Like I can wax poetic about philosophy all day and talk to you about different things like that. But at the end of the day, I think in the realm of fitness, what creates a divide, what we talked about was having that understanding of anatomy. So it's just constantly reading, but then practicing, like implementing, what I've learned and what I do read into the gym. So if it's philosophy, it's like finding out how that can make my training better. Being able to quote Plato doesn't make you a great coach. Being able to implement philosophies into training makes you a great coach. Same thing with like reading an anatomy textbook, right? You can know everything there is about the anatomy. Unless you can walk into the gym and throw some weight on the bar, that's not going to matter, right? So again, it's biggest opportunity for myself is to just take what I've read and implement it on the platform.
Right. Now, do you intend to kind of implement that into your clients or potential coaches from Prescript, like PSL1? So you're not only improving that for yourself, but your ability to teach that or coach that.
Yeah. So as everybody who trains with me one-on-one every day knows, I kind of go into every day with this theme. And I kind of just work out a thought with everyone who gets in front of me, and they're kind of subject to being an innocent bystander to my thought process.
Sure.
It's the greatest thing about coaching, right? You just work in a big laboratory, just experimenting with people all day
Yep.
with hypothesis. So everything I learn first for others before I learn it for myself. So anything a client's ever done, I've done on myself, but I've probably learned it for them. And if it's worked for them, I've probably implemented it on myself. I don't work the other way around. So yeah, everything I do is usually with someone else in mind. And then from there, it's like if I can take what I've learned and I can teach others, that's the most rewarding thing, like more than even training clients one-on-one. It's, like the coolest thing is like I'll post an exercise on social media. The next day, somebody will tag me in them doing it or in them taking a client through it or that helping somebody. Like I work at a gym with 10 other trainers, and when I do something on the floor and a week later, 9 dudes are all doing the same exercise as me with a client, like that makes me feel pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like proof is in the pudding, proof's in the numbers, and you see other people do it and be successful. That's what matters. So in terms of me learning, it's like I learn for others. So to constantly grow my client base and constantly implement better strategies for people. And then 2, to be able to help other coaches implement better strategies from there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great, man.
It is. And you're doing a hell of a job. Like,
Thanks, man.
I've known you now, I don't know, a few years, 3, 4,
Yeah,
something
probably,
like that, whatever. Yeah.
3-4 years for sure.
But yeah, I remember at RPS, it was the June meet, not the October meet. But
Yeah.
you were squatting. I think you hit like 424 or something like that.
Yeah.
What are your
425 that day.
numbers?
Yeah.
So my numbers are, I have a 500 squat or 225 kg. My best bench is 303. I don't know what that is in kg, 142 and a half, I think. Doesn't matter.
Half, kind of.
Whatever.
Imperial.
And then my best deadlift's 545.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, definitely an improvement from previous years, and despite training for different things, right? Like bobsled took me
Right.
away from
Yeah.
doing any kind of powerlifting, and getting back to powerlifting's been fun, doing a lot of volume and,
Yeah.
developing a skill, which is literally all I try and do.
Were you just saying you competed in the same thing?
Yeah, so my last meet I did was June 2016, and Killian, I don't know if I knew you online or something before that,
I
but
think it was like the old IG
Yeah.
follow for follow.
so he competed.
Muscle Bill send you nudes.
Yeah.
That's right. Check it out.
Sending me beard pics.
That's right. It's the up angle, right? You got to get that volume. But I remember you out squat me by about 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And I remember I was pretty stoked I beat your bench.
Yeah.
And deadlift as well. But I was like 30 pounds heavier. So,
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. But probably my first memory of you was after the meet was over, or during that time. You came up to a group of us. I think it was me and Brady and whatever.
Yeah,
and you were just
probably.
like, you're saying how neat it was to share the platform with us.
Yeah.
And like including me. And I was like, I need to leave this group. Like,
No way,
you're not
man.
talking to me. And you're like, nah, man, it's super cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm nobody, man. I'm not strong. I'm just doing this. Like, I'm just a dude. And you're like, no, dude, like it's super cool.
Yeah,
And
like-
up here, I'm like, it was really a kind of blew my mind a bit. I'm like, Brady just attempted 800 pounds.
Yeah.
Man. Like you just don't squat me. I'm not impressive.
No, I
Wait.
think like sharing like a platform with people or sharing the octagon with somebody, it's like,
Yeah.
it's not always about that skill or that person's track record, but who they are, right?
Sure.
Like with you, with all like the health stuff, man, and like the way you carry yourself, and like even Joel here, man, like I never met this dude before, but he's been a wicked dude today. He's like, no, nothing but positive. So it's like, it's an honor to share a space with people that are positive, people
Absolutely.
that are looking to grow and that are humble. I wouldn't be happy or proud or excited to share a platform with people that were negative or putting people down. So I think that's the biggest thing. And I think it kind of comes full circle to when I did bobsled. Like, man, that's a fucking high pressure environment, dude. Like everyone's trying to go to the games. Nobody's nice.
Yeah.
No one's really trying to help you out. Like there's a lot of people I met that are my friends now, and that I respect a lot, and definitely were, people that changed things in my life for the positive. But overall, it was an experience of like high stress and negativity. So to like get back to powerlifting, and even previous to powerlifting, see that difference in support.
Sure.
And it's an amateur sport, right? Like when you meet people in an amateur sport that treat it like an amateur sport, that's what's nice.
Right.
None of us are getting paid. Like we don't have to be dicks about it, right?
There is no
So-
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, like there's no one's getting a medal for this, right? Who cares? You throw some Metallica on, buy a t-shirt, get the fuck out of here. So that's powerlifting. So I think it's like when you find people that are positive and supportive, like that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah. Well, your attitude, like I said, I guess to get to the end of that is really what stuck with me. I'm like, all right, well, Killian, instantly, you're a good dude. Like you said,
Thanks.
you're one of those guys. Not only are you intelligent, you know what you're talking about. You clearly train effectively because you're strong as fuck, and you're in like aesthetically good shape as
Thanks,
well.
man.
But you know what I mean? It's like on top, besides all that, your mindset is really, it's very rare.
Thanks,
that
dude.
opportunity for growth on the mind all the time, and
Yeah.
thinking more effectively it's very neat. So I have a lot of
Thanks,
respect
man.
for you, and like I said, I really appreciate the distance involved geographically to
Oh,
come
yeah.
on here and sit with us.
This is
I'm seeing a trend in some of the elite people that we talk to in this sport, right, or in the fitness industry. And like you said, one of them is the positivity, negativity thing. Like None of these people we come to get down here come here and like, I hate this, I hate that.
Yeah.
Well, everyone stays pretty positive, right? The other one is structure. They all share that common theme, like you're saying, organization, limiting stressors, all that business. And then the other one is always being goal driven. Like there's always that next step. Like you read, and I knew it. Like when you're talking, I'm like, this motherfucker must read a lot.
He reads
like, I can
books.
tell. That's what I was thinking in my head. I'm like, please tell me you have another trick other than reading. Then you're like, and then I just do something that I like. I like to read. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I need to start reading, man. That's one of my takeaways because every person we get that's here and they're really smart are reading. Because that's how you get smarter.
Yeah, and I think like when it to interrupt you completely and take the mic. I'm just kidding, but
Absolutely.
like
No,
about
do that.
about the reading thing is man, do people all read the same thing? Like if I have to open another story on Instagram of like what's that, the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
You
know what
all
I-
horseshit.
You know what I
books.
don't give a fuck about that book.
That book?
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, like again, like there's something to be said. Like Plato, super old Greek dude from thousands of years ago, wrote a bunch of philosophy, and after that, people have said that any philosophy after Plato was just a footnote. It was just somebody kind of taking a spin on what he said. So when it comes to reading, I think to be more critical of it, if you want to read something and it's not like a billion years old, look at who that person was influenced by, or look at 3 influences that person had and read those 3 books first. And then read that book that you wanted to read, because maybe you'll understand it better.
Right.
Or maybe you'll grasp the base principles, right? Like Socrates and Plato said that Socrates said basically that mastering anything, mastering a skill or mastering an art, is understanding the first principles of that art. Otherwise, it's a habitude. It's just a habit, a mechanical thing you've invented. So it's like if you want to be great at being stoic, which is a cool thing to be now, like stoic, I guess, quiet. And
Hipster
like,
style, yeah.
hipster style, like have one chair and a white wall. It's like, dude, read Marcus Aurelius. Don't read some dude from 2017 who wrote a book on being stoic. Like, read the OG.
Is that a real thing, the white wall thing?
Oh, I don't know. I just made that. It just seems super
'Cause
stoic.
You know what's funny? It's that you mentioned that, and I've never told you this before, but one of my exes thought I was fucking insane because they're like, what would you do in your ideal relaxing space at your house? I'm like, all right, well, I would have a stool with a little fold-out wood thing that I could put my plate on.
Yeah.
And it'd just be a blank wall, and I would sit at the stool and eat my plate of food on this little thing in the middle of the wall by myself. And they're like,
Sounds like where the crazy people go.
that's
man.
that's relaxing. I'm like, right, but there's no visual stimulation. There's no audio stimulation. I'm sitting here. There's nothing stressful in front of me. I have a blank mind. I'm eating my food, whether I enjoy it or not doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's just super chill.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds like a relaxing meal to me.
Yeah.
And they're like, you sound like a fucking psychopath.
Hey, man, that'd be pretty relaxing.
but there's a white wall in the chair. I'm like, yo, I thought of that a couple of years ago.
See, you should write a book, man. And
I was
call it,
stoic before it was cool.
the subtle art of muscling around Bill. So, but yeah, I think like
just
that's
funny.
the big thing with reading, right? And
Yeah.
it's like we take everything at face value. We want to read what everybody else wrote. We want to post a story about it. It's
Sure.
like, man, like
Get to the source.
just get to the source. Like read what the first guy said, and
Yeah.
then when you read what the new guy said, like maybe you understand it better, or maybe you base your own opinions.
Yeah, you might not like the angle that guy
disagree.
took from
Yeah,
the
like
source.
maybe
you know
he
what I
edited
mean?
out all that good shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He kept that good for himself.
Yep.
Yeah. Or just puts a spin on it that you don't necessarily take. You know what I mean?
100%.
Two of us could read the same thing. We'd both we take something completely different from
Exactly. And with a lot of these like philosophical self-help books, that's what it's about. Like you're going to interpret it the way you interpret it. And it's like, go to the source, like get the base code, right? It's like, it goes back to like, what's the best book for building muscle? What's the best book for building strength? Buy a book on anatomy, learn the base code yourself,
Yeah.
and write your own program.
Right.
Right. And this has come from a guy who coaches people online. I'm telling you to buy a book and write your own program.
Do it on your own.
Yeah, like stop DMing me.
Or
Should-
buy my shit. Or buy my shit.
Stop
Do that too,
Yeah,
guys.
stop asking, should I put chains on the bar? Just
Just go
buy the book
prescript.
and do it yourself, man. Or if you
Right.
want to eliminate a stressor in your life, get a coach and don't ask questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show up every day.
Yeah.
Ideally, they'll be a prescript coach because then you know they're not a fucking moron.
Yeah. And then maybe they think critically, right?
That's right.
I'd hope so.
Because then you don't have to think at all.
Okay, what about a book? What would you say if if there's one book out there, self-help book, what one would they get? Or what one should they get?
Are you thinking for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a really good book called Switch. I can't remember who wrote it. It's called Switch. It's a blue book. It's got a red light switch on it. It basically goes over the idea of like the rider and the elephant, like who's choosing the path. Are you choosing the path, or is what around you choosing the path?
Oh yeah.
Somewhat existentialist in the idea: is it your essence? Is it your identity, or is it your environment that dictates what you do? So I would say Switch is a number one book to read. The other book that I would recommend reading if you want something deeper is The Concept of Mind by Gilbert Ryle.
Okay.
That book is all about a lot of its skill acquisition and understanding like that intellectual and mechanical skill aren't different from one another. They exist together. So it's not all about knowing and it's not all about doing. It's about marrying the two. So Concept of Mind and Switch.
Nice.
Very interesting. Yeah.
I probably need that book. So then I'm not all just go. I know why I go.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, knowing the intention, knowing the why.
The thing is, you have to read it though. You can't just buy it.
And
We talked briefly when you were gone.
Yeah.
I don't retain information well when I read, so I think
neither.
audiobooks are much better for me, and that's something that I just haven't implemented yet. But I'm on the same boat. I'm like, I really would like to infuse my brain with more information, but I hate reading, and books seem to be the way to go. So audiobooks, I guess I don't have an excuse. It's just put out the money and buy some.
I need a brain supplement, I think.
As we talked about earlier, what's the intention of your creatine? I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
With a brain supplement, I want to read a book.
Yeah. I take creatine to read books.
Yeah.
But it is now a nootropic, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's good for brain health.
But
Audible, YouTube, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never
lots of
watched
shit.
anything on YouTube.
No.
No. I've like watched stuff, but like nothing in educational. I was saying that to Bill. Like I can't listen to an audiobook. I can't watch YouTube. I just got to read it for myself.
Really? See, I'm watching on YouTube. That helps me out.
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's good. Like, and that's the
I need
thing,
that
right?
visual.
Find that tool that allows you to access the information.
Or we could even say what medium.
Yeah. The medium is the message, right? What modality best suits
There we
your
go.
way of learning.
Yeah.
Circle back around.
And then don't bother with the other one. Don't read a book if you can't read books good, right? I don't read good. Stop reading.
good.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go with what you're good with.
Yeah. 100%, man.
Strengthen your strengths and you can carry on.
Yeah. Strengthen your strengths, hide your weaknesses.
That's with a sweater.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people I bet you take away from this is that you could apply it to everything. It's not just your workout, you know what I
No,
mean?
yeah. This is
I'm
just
waking up today. What's my intention going to be? Like, what am I waking up for? What do I got to do? What do I got to get done before the
100%.
sun sets?
Exactly. And like looking at your schedule, look at it the same way. It's like knowing when you first get up in the morning, you're probably not good for an hour, 2 hours when you first wake up to do something smart, right? You're probably going to get warmed up. So maybe you do a word search. Maybe you do a crossword puzzle. Maybe you do a Rubik's Cube or Sudoku on your way to work, or when you first get to work, take 5 minutes, do something smart. And it's like schedule your work throughout the day to meet your ability to like access like neurological, like your brain is tired versus physiological, your body is tired, right? Like it doesn't have to be about the gym. But it's like, man, if you got stuff to do on the weekend, do the smart people stuff first, man. Like have a big breakfast and do the stuff that requires you to think.
Right.
Don't do thinking stuff at 7 p.m. at night. Like don't read a
when you're
book.
exhausted,
Don't read a book at 9 p.m. Dude, read the book at 9 a.m. and do your laundry at 9 p.m. Like there's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Or to plug another Jay Neera's book, right? The Systems.
Sisyphus.
You can do the systems journaling at the end of the day or the start. But if you're tired at nighttime, it's a good time to set intentions for the next day. This
100%.
whole gratitude journaling is huge
it's a
right now.
journal?
But it's if you want to schedule that, plan that, do it around your psychological or your mental capacity to do that. Right?
Yeah. And I think the other thing is like the whole gratitude journal thing, or the whole idea of intention is it's like live in the moment, man. Like that's basically the story. That's something you could glean from the idea of Sisyphus, like the actual Greek mythology itself about this dude who had to push a rock up a hill forever and the rock constantly kept rolling down. And you could contemplate suicide all day because that sucks. Or, dude, you could just accept that you push a rock all day and be the best damn rock pusher ever, right? Like,
Don't you mention him? in
Yeah,
your
so
talks?
that's when I talk about it a bit. Cause exactly. So
Yeah.
I remember because it
100%.
sounds like syphilis.
yeah, it sure does.
super close. Very different.
Terrible name, bud.
So, yeah,
But,
man. So
yeah.
I think, it's just living in the moment every day, right? Like accepting what your role is, like in your own life that day, and like do that well. Like if your role that day is to train 15 clients, train the shit out of those dudes.
Yeah.
If your role that day is to do Rubik's Cubes and do the laundry, man, do the shit out of that laundry.
that
bro.
too.
Wash those clothes.
Yeah. No, I like it. Do you have anything else you want to cover before we wrap up?
No, man. I just like really appreciate this opportunity to yell into a big, cool looking empty room with you two guys. And if anybody took anything from this, that's awesome. And if you didn't, find me on Instagram and tell me I wasted your time, and that's cool too. And
No, I'm sure they won't
no
feel
refunds,
that way,
no
man.
refunds on time.
That's right. Or on the Maximum Meathead podcast. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
So people that want to look you up, you're on a few different ways. You've got Prescript. How do they spell your name and things? It's a little bit
This
less
is
conventional.
how good I am at this. I'm opening my Instagram currently to tell you how to find me.
Beautiful.
What is this?
What is my Instagram name?
So you can find me mainly at Killian.Hamilton on Instagram. From there, there's a link to the Prescript website, which offers our coaching and seminar dates that I'll be both a part of. From there, you can also email or call me. My number's on there too. Or shoot me a DM about any questions you have from today's podcast, or questions about training or philosophy.
Or beard pics.
Yeah, or beard pics, sweet beard and short pics. And no short pics. And then lastly,
You do some weirdo out there would be listening, be like, "Oh, you asked me to."
yeah,
hang
it's got
on.
the short pics.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I am short. You'll have a picture of my short ass.
Yeah, you had to say just kidding because that asshole that's out there right now.
Yeah, I don't want my asshole out there. And then, you know what, if you're in the Brampton area, I work at Good Life Kings Point Plaza. Swing by for a workout, down to take you through one, or you can train with me, man. It's all good. I'll whip the whiteboard out. We can talk. I'm always down to talk shop. So you can find me in the gym, find me on the internet, or find me in a back alley if you want to beat the shit out of me, man. Like, go nuts. I'm not a tough guy. So.
I was just going to say, highly recommended up until the back alley thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I don't recommend people do that.
Yeah, don't do that. He's my homie now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I have to go blasting in.
Now we got to go for a cruise, road trip to meet your Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
And fucking cause some problems.
Yeah, we'll all throw down.
I'm a pussy too.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, it's awesome, man. I just hope that people understand the level that you're at.
Thanks,
Or
dude. I
think
really
that
appreciate
you're at
that.
Anyways, you just have you're like the John Danaher. I don't know if you know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at all. John Danaher, he has this way of teaching Jiu-Jitsu that's taken over, and it's so systematic. It's something
Cool.
that's like, it's been missing. Like, it's almost exactly how you're breaking things down. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, why are we doing it this way?
Yeah.
How does that body part move? You know what I mean? What do we have to eliminate so that can't get into that range, or it can't escape this, or it can't do that? And he has the system so broken down and methodical, and just, you're like the weightlifting version.
That's
of
sick, man.
today.
That's awesome. It's a
Yeah.
big
It's weird.
compliment. Thank you.
Look up John Danaher
Yeah, I'll
in
do
Brazilian
that.
Jiu-Jitsu, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Just
For
because it's
sure.
just like, it's simple, but it
Yeah.
works, and it's so overlooked. It's like, it's all about being organized. Really,
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to, is organization.
Yeah, eliminate stressors,
Yeah,
and
it's great.
it's damage control.
So check out Prescript, everybody.
Yeah.
I believe in it.
I've been following the RX radio for like 2 years, and Shallow and all that, and like honestly, it's probably a number one input for information for me from a training perspective, anyways, just because it's so applicable. But so many people don't know how to access it. They're not familiar with it, and that's I'm very much a fan of everything going on, and
Awesome, man. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you coming down, and I wish it. I'm very excited to follow along this year for you and see all the things that come.
Yeah.
So
We got to do this again.
yeah.
I want to go lift some weights.
Dude,
Yeah.
let's go to Brampton and
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
just train. Like
I missed out on my
I
opportunity.
know.
Pissed.
there's no
Yeah.
fire
We'll do
calls
the
in Brampton.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. Pager stays at home. So
Yeah, that'd be sick, man. Rip it down to Brampton, Toronto, and we'll
Yeah.
get a workout in.
Yeah.
Real one.
save it for a nice heavy day
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
I don't have a broken wing, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody's still listening, do a little screenshot and reshare thing and tag us all or whatever. We'll do all that shit. But otherwise, make an appointment, donate some blood, you save a life.
100%.
Yes, sir.
And otherwise,
Bye.
bye.
Later.